Hey guys, it's Boo and welcome back to another video. So I actually asked on Instagram what people wanted to see on this channel, and someone requested that I do how to plot support and resistance. So support and resistance is probably the most fundamental part of my trading. So I think this is definitely something I should go over for you guys, and I'll definitely go in depth on exactly how it works and how to plot support and resistance. So let's get into the charts and I'll explain more. All right, so now that we are in the charts, here we have a completely naked chart of Euro USD. To explain what support and resistance is, they are places in price where price tends to pause or reverse. Many times it's where, well, at least where I look for trading opportunities, and many others are actually looking for trading opportunities, which makes them very respected areas. So how support and resistance works is, let's say you have a support zone. Support zones are usually on the bottom. So if this is our support down here, our resistance is usually above. And price will usually, if the price is coming down, so let's imagine this line is here, support is on bottom. So support is where buyers are. Essentially, the idea behind support is that there are buyers looking to buy there, which will in turn bring price up. Many people believe that there are banks that have their orders set there. Essentially, it is where the bigger players are looking to get into positions or exit their positions. And that is why price tends to pause around these areas, and price tends to move from these areas at pretty quick paces, in that the reversals are quick, and thus the zone is pretty strong. So support is always on bottom, resistance on top. Something that I should probably let you guys know is support and resistance is the same as supply and demand. People like to think they're different, but the concepts behind the two are literally the exact same. So when you hear supply and demand, support and resistance, they are literally the exact same thing. So getting into plotting support and resistance, many people mistake this. So support and resistance is not a fine price. It can't be marked as in, let's say right here, if somebody wants to mark right here, it isn't exactly a single price. Although price may turn around at that exact point maybe one or two times, it is more so what is called a zone. So I actually don't refer to the, I guess, support and resistance as support and resistance that much anymore. I refer to them as zones, because support and resistance can act as each other. For example, support can become resistance after it has sunk down below it and then comes up to retest it. I'll show you guys some examples of that when we get there. And same thing with resistance, it can also become support. So let's imagine we are, let's actually here's what we'll do. We'll go to a clean area and I will draw out some market structure. So if we have price coming up, we have price coming back down. Very, very nice uptrend. You many times won't see this clean of an uptrend or trend in market like this. But for example, we will show this. So what we have here, I'm just going to draw so that I can show you guys what a break and retest is. Alright, so what you would do here is you would have multiple zones. So from here you would see that you have a zone right here, very nice zone right here. So zones I usually draw with the rectangle tool in TradingView. It's the easiest to make zones. Here we'll draw another one. So what you got to think of zones as is you got to think of it, let's think of it like Jello. So price can press into it, but it can rebound off of it. It doesn't mean that price can essentially, I mean, if you push hard enough on Jello, you'll put a hole in it and you'll go right through it. That's what price can do too. So you can't think of support and resistance as a for sure thing that price will reverse at it. So for example, I mean, price could come up here, could come back down, and see it just shot straight through our resistance. Another thing it could have done is, for example, let's draw another one. let's just imagine that this is another price, and maybe it took a little longer to get up. It could have come back up to our resistance and then decided to drop. And what we would have here is consolidation forming within this zone right here. But that's not what happened here. What we had here is we had price come above, and then we had price come back down, and then we had it come to retest our forming. It actually hasn't formed a zone here technically yet. So technically price hasn't formed a zone here because we've only had one touch right here. So we have our price right here. There's no historical touch of this price point behind, because this is technically all the data we can see. So we have price coming down, testing our zone that has been established by 1, 2, and then here we have a retest, and from here this is where we would ideally sell. So break and retests are one of the most important trading concepts that is almost a universally known thing if you trade zones. If you don't know about zones, that is understandable that you wouldn't know to do this. But essentially, this is where you would look to sell. You could look for other pieces of confluence here. You could be looking at a fib retracement. You could be looking at price action patterns, which I'm not really a fan of, more so learning about. Now, I'll talk about that in another video. But essentially, what you're looking for is this is another piece of confluence that you can add to your trading arsenal. So zones, very important. They're places that you can look to open positions, almost very universal in every trading plan actually. So getting into exactly how to plot these and how to look for them. So here, let me just get rid of this. So plotting support and resistance is very, very basic. You'll master it within, I don't know, you could master it within hours, honestly. Essentially what you are looking for are places where price comes back to and retests. So very nice one that has been historically accurate has been 1.15-ish right here. All right. So what we'll do is we draw our zone here. This is on the daily, so this is considered a very strong zone. So what we got is right there. And what you see here is you've got price coming down, touching, bouncing all the way up, coming back down, touching, 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 touching. Just kept on bouncing up, bouncing up. We had a break out right here, but it came back up, came back in, and you see you could have bought the retest here, and you would have gotten quite a few pips. Break and retest. So that's actually a real example of a break and retest. See, you know, right there, and you sell. So what you can do with support and resistance is you can actually chart quite a few things. So you can actually plot out your consolidation zones, which there have been a few recently in Euro USD. So I had this marked out earlier as I'm trading this. See, which one did I have marked out? Okay, so there are actually a few here. So you see how you have this point right here, 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 a little bit higher up, and here. So what I would have done here is I would have actually had two zones. Like this would be a minor zone, and down here would have been our secondary zone. Actually, I would consider that a breakout. Oop. Yeah, so here, what we'll do is we'll draw this out here. Draw that down, and what you got is your zones here. So that's your zone up there, and roll down there, and then your zone up here would be. So what's nice is if you use the, what's it called here? The cross tool, yeah. You can actually see if it matches up right here. So we got a little line right here, and you can see that you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches. And so what you do is you'll take your rectangle tool. Is there actually a retest here? Okay, whatever, we'll draw it. And what you get here, and then what you got is your consolidation zone. So in consolidation, you would look to buy on your support and sell on your resistance. I mean, obviously, this is a pretty good buy down here. I mean, other than that, what you have is actually here. Yeah, so we have our, where we plotted it on our daily. So we actually broke out of our 4-hour support and resistance consolidation zone, broke up into our daily, and decided to come back down. As you can see, that was a place that was heavily sold. We had a very strong move back down. Other than that, I think I covered support and resistance pretty well for, I mean, what it is. It's pretty simple. How would you say that? Pretty simple concept. Other than that, I think next video I'm going to go over how to read candlesticks more properly. It's more so a personal preference type thing. I'm not so much about patterns as I am about reading what the candlestick is saying. So if you're very interested in that, definitely hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to get notified when I do upload that. Other than that, boot out. Thanks for checking out my video. If you liked what you saw, definitely hit the subscribe button below and hit that like button. Other than that, see you guys next time.